Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And mark my fucking words, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, if you think that Bungie's monetization of Destiny is disgusting now, it's only going to get worse.
And now, the conclusion.
Headline: Bungie will be gutting Forsaken, but don't you worry, you can still pay for the remains of this post-birth abortion. Headline: Not even 2 weeks before the release of the $30 edition, Bungie announces, unlike seasonal content, the already insulting, celebratory, overpriced $30 dungeon, and the tchotchkes that Bungie has stuffed in the box to make it seem like it's a better deal than what it actually is, will need to be bought separately on all platforms.
Do the thing.
What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, and that didn't take very long now, did it? Hell, even I'm surprised. I thought, at the very least, Bungie would take the plunge down that slippery slope in, maybe 6 months to a year. Never let it be said that Bungie still can't surprise this jaded heart of mine. So, let's break this down. First, Forsaken. In December, before Bungie's post-birth abortion of Forsaken, throwing it into the content vault where player value goes to die, Forsaken will be made free to anybody who wants to give it a try. Forsaken, if you didn't know, is still on sale and has been since it was announced that it was going to be content vaulted half a year ago. You might want to put a pin in that because Bungie's habitual habit of waiting till the 11th hour to inform customers of sweeping changes in monetization, or acting in such a fashion by which they might be able to eke out a few more dollars from unsuspecting customers who are not engaged with the community on Twitter or Reddit. I know, right? Well-adjusted people who still play Destiny? Gasp, shock, horror, lightning crackle, lightning crackle, lightning crackle, what? Look, I'm not saying that Bungie lost Best Community by a landslide in the Golden Joystick Award. I'm just saying Final Fantasy XIV kicked their ass, not only in Best Community, but in the still playing categories, by a fucking landslide. Hell, it wasn't even close. Hell, Destiny wasn't even in the top 3. It wasn't even there for consideration. It wasn't even part of the conversation past nomination. But I digress. Point is, there are far more people who don't engage with Destiny's social media than do. And it's clear to anybody with a working frontal cortex, Bungie is betting on that, and that their entire plan is to keep charging for Forsaken until the last possible moment before it's torn out of the game, and do so in a way that makes them somewhat look good while doing it. And if it wasn't enough, to add further insult to injury, never let it be said that Bungie wasn't the master of monetization. They are the heir to the EA Activision monetization throne. They have taken the book that EA and Activision have written, outstripped and spanked the teacher, and have become a true master. Instead of taking the obvious win and making the now 3-year-old remnants of Forsaken's content part of Bungie's already abysmal free-to-try offering, they'll still be selling it. Quote, Forsaken Pack. Beginning on September 7th, the Forsaken Pack will be available for purchase, and will include access to the Last Wish raid and the Shattered Throne dungeon, as well as access to all the Forsaken exotics. The Forsaken Pack will also include 3 Forsaken ciphers that can be used to instantly unlock your choice of Forsaken exotics, not including raid and dungeon exotics, via the exotic kiosk in the tower. Everybody who previously purchased Forsaken will automatically own the new Forsaken Pack, and will receive 3 Forsaken ciphers directly to their inventory. If you already have every Forsaken exotic weapon, these ciphers will be converted to Ascendant shards. Well, never let it be said that Bungie doesn't know how to recycle. The audacity is kinda striking. Now, I'm not upset that Bungie is selling content that they own. Whatever, fine, fair enough. However, leaving it in the store, continuing to let people buy something that is going to be removed from the game after you've announced that it's going to be removed from the game, that is scummy as fuck. This gets even more fucked when you consider the confusion around the Middle Tree subclasses. The Forsaken Pack does not state that it comes with access to the Middle Tree subclasses that released in Forsaken, meaning, unless this is an oversight, people will also have to buy an expansion in order to continue using something that large swaths of people have been using for the longest time for free. Now, this might not seem like a big deal on the face of it, but remember, all of the subclasses are getting a stasis-style rework, and Bungie has yet to clarify how this rework will affect those Forsaken abilities. As we know with the Void preview, with the inclusion of aspects and fragments, all of the subclasses will be fundamentally changed. And even outside the aspect and fragment system, we know that subclasses will have abilities removed or abilities fundamentally changed. While Bungie has every right to sell their product, the way by which they're doing it, telling people that they will lose access to middle tree subclasses without telling us how the subclass rework will affect skill trees, comes off as nothing more than trying to get players to panic buy something because they'll lose what they already have. This seems even more predatory when you take into account that these stasis-like subclass changes to light-based subclasses will not only mix and match abilities, but add new aspects and fragments while adding and removing and changing already existing abilities. So, subclass trees as we know it will not exist. And then we come to the joke that is the 30th anniversary event. We shall couch for now the hilarity of throwing a 30th anniversary event that is largely supposed to be a celebration of Bungie and the community that has allowed Bungie to thrive and function and perpetuate its own existence for 30 years, and putting it behind a paywall. Well, at least that should tell you everything you need to know about just how grateful Bungie is to have your patronage. However, ultimately, that's nothing more than a sideshow to the main event. Since crossplay was announced, all seasonal content has been accessible across all accounts. This of course created the expectation that the 30th anniversary pack would follow the same trend. It was an expectation that Bungie allowed to flourish. Now we know from massive leaks that have accurately laid out the last year of content into Witch Queen and even beyond, that Bungie already knew what the pricing for the 30th anniversary pack was going to be. And that makes a lot of sense. When going into negotiations with different platforms where they're going to be selling their content, Bungie has to know everything about that content and how they're pricing it before they do so, if you want to play it on multiple platforms. So why did Bungie wait so long to tell its consumer base this? Why did they wait till the 11th hour? Not even 2 weeks before release, after hundreds of thousands of people had already pre-ordered Witch Queen in the 30th anniversary to drop this news. Were they hoping that people mayhaps be too distracted by the holiday to pay attention? Now, why is this important? You might be wondering why people wouldn't just buy it on the platform that they plan to play it on. Simple. The DLC comes out the 7th. And we're heading into the Christmas holiday. There's a lot of people looking forward to hopefully upgrading their console this holiday. And Bungie is hoping to eke out an extra $30 from people getting new consoles this holiday season. And hey, this wouldn't be a problem had Bungie said something from the beginning. And that's what this comes down to, Bungie and their lack of transparency. Now again, this isn't some whoopsie-daisy happenstance. Bungie is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They knew exactly what they were doing by putting the announcement off to the 11th hour. And that's why this is all scummy. It's not that Bungie wants to sell their product the way that they want to sell their product, it's their product, they can do what they fucking want. It's that they waited to inform their community, robbing that community of vital information that would allow them to make a more informed decision. And that should be called out every time. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did, subscribe for more, feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous, but above all else, stay frosty.